I'm gonna come up. Obviously that had to interrupt me again. An ice cream. Like it was not enough to have the goddamn police. Hi over there and welcome to this clip. Basically before starting, probably you can tell by the title and probably that's why you clicked it, is because I am gonna play around with Blue Blood from Jeffree Star. Basically, I've actually done this clip yesterday. I'm redoing it, so this is my second time when I'm filming it because I have no idea what happened, but it was just not working out. Like, I don't know, probably it was my hand. I was not patient probably, and I was not very inspired as well, so it turned a bit in a mess. Not gonna lie, I also used a base that I generally not use. Like, I use concealer, but I did not use the general concealer I actually use as a primer for my eyelid. Ocean Eyes stained my eye. You can't tell now because obviously I have foundation and it actually went down, like the actual staining is gone now, which I never experienced with Blue Blood or Alien, which do have pigment in them. Obviously it could be the pigment differently, but again, today I'm testing it out again. It's not the first impression, sadly. What I can say from yesterday is the fact that the shades are lovely. I was really surprised. I love Blue Monday is a neon shade, but then again it blends out very hard, almost impossible for myself because I'm not a makeup artist. You need to know that. Probably that's why I had such a hard time yesterday. So I really love the shades and I really want to love the palette. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get into the clip and see how this goes on today. Fingers crossed it's going to be good. I realized this line, you can tell the foundation is much darker than my face. Well, that's because I got the measurements wrong because I combined the foundations. And if you want to see the whole face I've done here, you could go on my Instagram, which is @Julypiesqueen. Here's the palette. It's really lovely. I love how it looks. When I saw this launching, I was like, I'm getting it from the first time. So I was at 5 on Beauty Bay's website, which was mental. But I have my brushes here. I cleaned them because basically yesterday what happened was on this eye, when I was blending in my crease, for some reason I had these bumps on my eyes. Those things were like over there and I have no idea why. I'm not quite sure if it was my texture on my eyes, because I do have a texture, but it's not like, it never happened to have an eyeshadow picking on my texture. So we'll see today. I'm using again Undertaker because that's the shade I started with in my crease. I'm gonna apply this Catrice Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. I really like this on the lids as a primer for eyeshadows. So this is what I normally use with any kind of eyeshadow to prime. Now I'm gonna go with a clean brush and use the shade Wealthy because it's a perfect shade for setting, and I always do this with any eyeshadow palette. Like if it has this shade, this kind of like skin tone sort of shade for myself, I'm using it. And now I'm gonna go with shade I'm Cold in my crease, just to kind of have a shade to blend in Undertaker, to not have like a harsh line. I'm just gonna go over here, not too close to the brow. Like I said yesterday, but obviously you won't be able to see the clip, it is a very pigmented shade. I really like it. There were 2 things that actually stained my eye, but I'm not quite sure if it was Blue Monday, the second one. I'm sure Ocean Eyes did because I put it on the middle and it left some pink staining, which I was like, okay, I mean, I look like I was bruised. And then I have in my crease staining of blue, but then again I don't think I'm Cold is actually, wait, let me check. Untouchable, Blue Monday and Ocean Eyes are not intended for use around the immediate eye area because they are pigments. So I'm Cold is not a pigment from what I can tell. so it should not be uncold that stained my eye. And I did go with Blue Monday a bit in the crease, so it might be that one. So what I'm gonna do now with the same brush, because the shade is quite light, I'm gonna go with Undertaker. So I'm gonna get some on my brush. It is really pigmented, so be careful with that. Tap it a bit, and I will just exactly go in the immediate crease. I will try to just place it, and I think what I'm gonna do, this is really pigmented, I knew that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch back and forth with a clean brush. This is not necessarily clean because I used the shade Wealthy, but it should not be any problem with it. So I'm gonna do is just blend that in. Yeah, it definitely blended out nice. It did not do that thing where it sets in my dots. Like I do have 2 dots over there, but those are literally my texture. Like I literally had dots of eyeshadow on over there in the actual shade of Undertaker, which was a joke, but this is not happening today, thank God. I'm gonna intense it a bit, intensify, so yeah. And I'm actually gonna put some I'm Cold just to make sure everything blends out nice. It definitely blended out 10 times. Like I can't even explain yesterday how horrible they blended out, but maybe the brush, it were the brushes, or maybe I just wasn't patient enough. I have no idea, but it doesn't matter. It's going well so far, so I'm glad. Because I really want to love this palette. Everybody does, and it's not only about that, but can we look at how wonderful the shades are? I realized I did not say anything at the beginning about swatches. I feel everybody who's interested in this palette already saw Jeffree's clip. I think what I'm gonna do now is actually take Blue Blood, which is the most wonderful shade I have ever tried. It is so pigmented, like it's mind-blowing. And what I think I'm gonna do is pack it next to that dark blue, because why not? And oh my god, that is so wonderful. Can you see the pigment? And this shade, I tried it yesterday on the actual immediate area between my, you know, in the crease, I mean, and it blends so nice. Like it's just a joke for how pigmented it is and how nice it blends. It's not patchy. It's just stunning. So what I'm gonna do now is take just a tiny bit of Undertaker. I'm literally just like just a tiny touch and trying to blend that out. I don't know. This is so far my favorite shade. I did not use them all yesterday, but so far this is the one that I think I'm gonna ruin the first. Did you notice I have even my nails? So I think what I'm gonna do now is use shade Entitled in my immediate inner part of the lid. So taking a flat brush, put it there. Ooh. Obviously. No. Oh, I did use this one underneath my eye. There was no justice for this shade underneath my goddamn eye. This is wonderful. Oh my god, I feel like I'm a mermaid, like literally a mermaid. I love it. It's just a bit crumbly, so you need to be careful with that. They are really pigmented and very smooth, so you need to just go to take a tiny bit at a time. I already used a couple of shades and I have no idea what I should do to this eye. Should I do the other eye different with other shades and be a bit crazy? I think I'm gonna do that. Alright, I'm gonna go with shade Flourishing. You Are Going in, because it will look really nice with the fact that I have this turquoise shade already there. So I'm gonna go with power just at the end of my eye, just to smoke that a bit, but obviously I don't have a black, so I'm not gonna use a black. The thing that will make a difference is going to be the inner corner shade and Ice Tray. I mean, let me just show you. It's just wonderful as an inner corner shade, I think. Can you see how that one pops out? Oh my god, that is so wonderful. I know it's a bit of a dark shade for an inner corner, but seriously, for this kind of a eye, I don't know. I went a bit overboard, but I feel, you know, if you're going with a very dark eye, might as well just use a dark inner corner shade as well, and especially if you're going out at night. Right, so this is the first eye. Let's go with the second eye, and I know this clip is going to be a bit long, but you know what, you're gonna see more shades used, so obviously it's gonna take longer. So I'm gonna take Mintia, if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, and this is gonna be difficult because I never filmed this eye. I'm just gonna put it in my crease. It's definitely on the green side. It looks very similar to Uncold, but it's not, and I don't know if you can tell on camera. Now I'm gonna do is go with shade Cremated, because I did not use this one at all, not even yesterday, so I'm gonna use that one out. And I'm definitely gonna use one of the pigments because I want to see if it's still gonna stain my eye. Right, I really like Cremated. It is definitely on the blue side, I can tell that. I'm gonna put Ocean Eyes, Blue Monday, and then I'll put in my inner corner Deceased, so I'm gonna do that. I did not blend it out, and I don't think it looks that bad. I'm just gonna take again a fluffy brush with cremated, and try slightly gently to brush around to just not look as harsh. You see, oh my god, this is really pigmented. Can you see that? I hope you do. But obviously I'm gonna... This is not as popping as the other one, but I feel that's because this one has a bit of a glitter in it, while this does not. Just a satin kind of finish. Now let's see what I'm gonna use underneath my eye. I think I'm gonna use again the Cremated shade because I want something dark underneath my eye. And what shade I said I'm gonna use in my inner corner. Let's just go with Culinan, whatever how that's pronounced. I said it yesterday. I think I'm gonna be able to use this as a goddamn highlighter, which is not something that I can complain about. And I think I'm gonna go with a setting spray with the shade Deceased because I want to make it just a tiny bit more popping. Let's see if this one does the trick. Yeah, it pops just a tiny bit more, but not something crazy. So I guess that's how the shade is supposed to be like, so that's completely fine with me. So for lipstick, I'm obviously gonna use a Jeffree style lipstick, and I'm gonna use Mannequin. But I think what I'm gonna do with the bluebloodpalette is I'm gonna put Crystal Flesh on top of my lips because I'm already extra enough to actually afford doing that as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I am really digging the way I look today. I am really loving this palette. Like, it's just be careful with it. They're like very bold shades that you need to be just a tiny bit careful than with your, you know, average kind of like palette. What I can say is if you got it and if you had a hard time your first time with it, you know, don't be so harsh on yourself. Practice with it because practice is key. And yeah. Hey, I know this is not the usual setting, but what I want to say is it did not stain my eyes. But for example, yesterday when I used the first time the palette, I used Collection Lasting Perfection, and it went through that concealer and it stained my eye. So make sure you use a very thick primer slash concealer. Catrice has a really good one. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this clip and it was useful and relevant, and I do hope you're gonna give me a chance to subscribe to this channel. So far so good. I will see you hopefully next time. Can you hear that? Bye.